The live lightning is a rather exact image of this fast and beautiful fish known to all fishermen living in Siberia. Across all northern Russia, its name is Gyrus or Harius. Прибайкальский тунгус call it Neruchan, Burats Hadaran, Yakuts call it Jerga. According to many features, the grayling is allegedly a link between the salmon and whitefish. The most motley fish of Siberia is characterized by a beautiful back fin with a pearl bordering, a gray-green back and silvery sides. Old individuals have sides of gold and pearl colors. The fish matures in 2 or 3 years and then it lives up to 5 or 6 years. Autumn fishing in the mountains of Pribaikalia. The first film. For the grayling along the Suvotikanu. We see one of the most valuable parts of the planet hidden among mountain gorges from the noisy civilization. Because of different natural riches, in the olden times this country was named Bargutskaya. Russian pioneers called it Barguzinskaya. In the middle of October, mountain rivers in Pribaikalia start to become covered with ice. But general freezing is preceded with some days during which the rivers bears shuga, or sludge ice, that is thin ice formed in the night and thawing during a day. With the approach of frosts and appearance of the first sludge ice or shuga, the grayling starts to roll downstream to deeper holes. There it will lead all the winter long. In this film, we will travel along mountain rivers of northern Buryatia, the Ina and the Suvotikanu. Together with fishermen from the Barguzin Valley, we will go along taiga paths of the Ikatsky Ridge. Last night, on the river, there happened partial freezing. Therefore, a net for the grayling, put in the evening by the coast, was removed. In the so-called 40 net, there were 9 large graylings caught. One day before my arrival to the fishermen, they had luck to caught big fish on the wide Gakshinsky Reach. In skilled hands, processing the fish, slightly frozen in the night, takes little time. 2 or 3 sharp movements with a knife, and the fish is ready.
Ага. Когда вытаскивают? Подлёдно?
Подлёдно, видимо.
As centuries ago, a fisherman's day begins with pecking at a taiga bonfire. In a fishing knapsack, they take only the most essential things: a loaf of bread, tea, salt, cigarettes, a set of tackles. So as not to bear back fish by themselves, they took a single inflatable boat. On it, one of the fishermen will send the future catch by the river.
Ну все, в путь дорог. Ну что, вперед! Пошагали. Вперед и с песней. Все, пошли.
With the first sun rays, we set off. The day was sunny and warm. It is time to get acquainted with the heroes of our film. They are the brothers Stepantsov, Michael and Vladimir, who know grayling hunting in perfection. Their friends have a joke: these lads will catch fish even there, where there will be none. They have been fishing together for many years, and in these mountains they know each path. This time they went on the right bank of the Ina, reducing a twisting way of the river by the forest. On the first stop, at the rich Bugri, an echistrodon got out to look at us, warmed by the sun. Usually, local fishermen do not use fine rotating paddle spoon baits, but they use baits made by their own hands, which have become very popular recently. Fishing the grayling on this bait requires years of skills perfection. As the grayling sees very well and can distinguish the thinnest hues of colors, a fisherman should be able to choose very exactly a bait, bearing in mind concrete conditions of catching. Techniques and tactics of fishing in autumn are the same as in summer. Here is the first catch. The fisherman's smile speaks better than words. His solo, venturesome Vladimir, does with a 5-meter telescopic fishing rod. Michael, who is already in his 6th decade, got used more to a spinning. To the next reach, they went on a stony bank of the Ina for more than 2 hours. A fisherman's day without rich fish soup is just unthinkable. Any fishing cannot do without it. While Michael was cleaning a fish, Vladimir started to select baits for a new place. The grayling is a fish rather whimsical and legible and will not eat everything. Everybody knows that it is possible to lose your way among theoretical judgments and practical advice of fishermen. Therefore, the brothers Stepantsov, who fish all their life when choosing the form and color of baits, are guided by long-term experience and personal observations. And frequently, they use for autumn baits gray vegetation from their own chests. This material, from which the most lucky baits are made, is always near at hand. It is considered that baits of not strikingly gray tones are suitable in autumn. However, to the red color, it is necessary to notice, the grayling is especially attracted. Therefore, to begin catching on a new place is better with baits of yellowy-brown, red-gray, dark-gray or olive tones. Quite often, baits are made in a pure fantasy way. Skilled fishermen say, time of making a good bait is approximately equal to the time for cooking tasty fish soup. The fish soup from the fresh grayling turned out to be really tasty, and we checked the quality of the baits on the next reach. Fishing the grayling on a wet bait is the peak of sport fishing. Not all fishermen can catch the grayling even where there is a lot of it. This strong and graceful fish usually hunts within the limits of all width of a riverbed, but it is in the same place only in a certain season and under certain weather conditions. A female deer, having seen us on the river, swinging with fisher rods, takes her clumsy kid from us. In small mountain streams, especially poor in food, it is most convenient to catch the grayling on a wet bait before cataracts. Favorite places of its living are shoals and upward places of ridges adjoining to drains. The grayling, however, doesn't go into currents and stays more often in the end of a current and on its edges in bordering zone of direct and return current.
На раз ловушку кинул. Лучше на раз. На кого будет брать? Привязывать. А так...
At last, after a 20-kilometer hiking, we crossed the right tributary of the Ina, the shallow but fast Suvotikanu. Late in the evening, close to the winter hut, there appeared the boss of local places. A young male confidently, slowly passed on the pebble bank of the river, looking out for something edible. By a fire, the events of the past day are slowly discussed. A conversation of fishermen is quiet and clear. Probably only such people, full of internal honor and force, can live in these severe places. Every skilled fisherman has his favorite places. The river Suvotikanu is one of favorite places of the brothers Stepantsovs. Here they fish every autumn for many years. In translating from the Tungus language, the name of the river means the farthest river. Probably so it is, because nearby a solid wall of mountain ridges rises high. The first snow fell at night, having decorated mountains and the forest with a soft coverlet. Wet autumn snow changed its bank unrecognizably. After an hour of walking, Vladimir decides to stop at a big ridge. Here last year, both whitefish and grayling were well caught. Selected victim and catches the bait especially quickly. The Frenchmen even call it pombre, that means a fast phantom for its ability to disappear and appear like a shadow. A tackle is necessary to be held all time tense, so as not to be late while catching. In quieter places, the catching of the grayling is usually gentle and cautious. Here it is better to fish precisely, softly and strictly in the necessary moment. Usually, the fish always keeps at the bottom, but every time it rises to the surface if it sees something edible. Catching of a large grayling is done by a strong enough feeling in hand, but nevertheless it is important to watch intently a bait, and fishing line should be moderately tense. A caught grayling resists, doing fast circles with sharper tacks, trying to go downstream. The lip of the grayling is gentle and can easily become torn from sharp movements of a fisherman. Therefore, it is better to pull it cautiously.
Вижу за тобой.
Using two baits, the grayling can get both at once. These two beautiful fishes are not the first for today. A freshly caught grayling, cooked as a fish soup or on the rozhane, belongs to a number of the most tasty Siberian fishes and doesn't yield to the whitefish. The darker the color of the grayling is, the more tasty it is considered. The Siberian mountain grayling has stronger meat than European species.
Я тебе отвечу, буду тут. А? Бери, да еще добавлю. Я 3 взял. Еще 3 бери.
A favorite dish of Pribaikale fishermen is a rozhane from a fresh grayling.
Вот как они должны меня развалить. Потом сзади. Во.
A split fish is strung on wooden, plainly whittled rods. Then they stick them around the fire at an angle and watch so that the fish was fried regularly. From a correctly cooked fish, scales are easily separated from the flesh. To eat a fish is better at once when it is hot from the fire. Then it is especially tasty.
Вот вкусняга.
Despite a snowfall, the fishing went on all day long. By the evening, the reach was hunted through. The catch has made up almost 40 kilos of the perfect grayling. Tomorrow, the fish on this reach will appear again. Up to the end of October, the grayling, attracted by the call of an annual migration, will roll continuously downstream to its habitual places of wintering. When in youth, a heavy sack filled with fish was brought for tens of kilometers on shoulders. But years have taken their time, and it became much more convenient to pass the cargo by the river by a boat. Michael says that he visited the Suvotikanu for the last time. I can hardly believe it. A Siberian lad is strong both in his body and mind. With a staff he will go in the vast taiga as long as he has forces. In the evening, at a taiga fire, he will not once reproach himself that again it is necessary to tread in mountains and to fill extremely clumsy plank beds, but there will be a morning, and he, as his ancestors, Siberian hunters and fishermen, begins to perform habitually simple taiga work. And this history has been repeating from the time immemorial. The taiga doesn't love the lazy. It is necessary to be able to remove a skin from an animal, to know how correctly it is to split and salt fish, and much more a huge number of taiga skills. This year, the Suvotikanu hasn't deceived and fed with fish. This catch for the families of fishermen will suffice for all winter, and it is long in Siberia. The brothers Stepantsovs follow the law of the taiga, and they never take extra things. It became their vital philosophy, thanks to which our farthest rivers are still full of fish. Vladimir is my father. To him I am indefinitely grateful for hard science of the taiga life given to me in school days. He always taught us not to be greedy, not to kill an animal or a bird without need. Having served for 9 years on a supervising post, he remains the same plain person and a sincere hunter. With the approach of autumn, the heart of the hunter and the fisherman sings its primordial song. Uncontrollably, it pulls them in mountain backwoods, once again to test himself alone with the wild Siberian nature. Our travel comes to the end. A loaded Niva, persistently overcoming the abrupt Gashkinsky rise, clambers on an old road laid by geologists. Tired but pleased with this fishing, we come back home. Flashing behind the windows of a car grey grooves obstinately mutters the engine, and I am thinking of this land to which destinies of courageous people are connected. They have paths in mountains and beloved families in settlements. They haven't forgotten the custom of mutual help. And in all this there is eternal wisdom. Under a wing of the plane floats immense Baikal, Siberia. It resembles a fantastic country of mountains where iced peaks of ridges chain in vast distances. Somewhere there below has remained the Suvotikanu.
Тускнеют блики костра, последняя песня допета, уже выходить нам пора в рассвет уходящего лета. Рюкзак на последних порах, и с новым мотивом на сердце уносим мы души в чехлах под звуки мажорного скерца. В добрый путь, друзья, в добрый путь, друзья, пусть будут верны ваши тропы, а в душе печать нас сведет опять, и появятся новые строфы. Может быть, что-то было не так, может быть, мы неправильно пели, может быть, но мы пели всегда. И тогда, когда петь не умели, видно, нам это свыше дано, чтоб другим дать понять, чем мы дышим, чтоб под звуки гитары другой свои песни однажды услышать. В добрый путь, друзья, в добрый путь, друзья, пусть будут верны ваши тропы, а в душе печать нас сведет опять, и появятся новые строфы. Ну что ж, говорю я, прощай всем тем, кто нас слушал и верил. Помни, надейся, скучай, не закрывай в сердце двери. Сбудется все, белый снег, буйство весны, пламень лета, в бликах костра звонкий смех, песни, что на